afternoon, Adam. Looks like maybe some changes to the lines. I don't think you played a whole lot with Paul Stastny. What might that look like to you, and to play with a guy who's on the cusp of 1,000 games in his career?
Yeah, it's one of the things. We had a few games earlier this year, and he's such a smart player. He seems to be always in the right spots, always making the right decisions with the puck. He's a guy that's real engaged in the game, coming to the bench, and there's a lot of communication. And so I don't think it's one of those things that there's going to be too many surprises. I think he knows what type of players Happy and I are, and we know what he can do with the puck. We know what he can do with his smarts, and we're looking forward to seeing how that combo works. And obviously Copper's going to be, and it's a bit of a different look. And to play with a guy, a couple stints here in Stas, and to see him approaching 1,000 games, it's a huge milestone, and just shows kind of the dedication he's had to the game. What a great career he's had, and the stuff he does away from the rink to make him be able to stay in this league, and not only stay in this league but be an effective player throughout his career. It's truly a feather in his cap, and we're really happy for him, and we're looking forward to that.
Go ahead, Mike McIntyre, with your follow-up.
It was actually on a separate topic, but I'll ask it anyways. Adam, you're on the you're the player rep for the Jets. So there was some news this weekend about changes in protocols, of course, for players in the U.S. coming into the playoffs now that have been vaccinated. I guess just what are your overall views? Are you happy for those guys down there, and kind of maybe wishing we could see something similar up here?
A tad jealous. But we understand the situation. I think, you see with them, and what's expected to get them to be able to open some of the policies and relax some of the protocols. We totally understand it. There's different situations and different rollouts in the States and Canada. So it's one of those things. We're being patient. We're waiting, and hopefully that. We can get fully vaccinated or get to that number, if guys so choose. And then, maybe we can enjoy some of those relaxed protocols. I know, it's going into lockdown in Manitoba again here, and, Alberta and Ontario, and, the other provinces, it doesn't seem like, if the protocols were relaxed, that we'd enjoy any of the benefits right now. So, we're just going to do our part, be patient, and, hope that day comes sooner rather than later.
We'll go next to Kelly Moore from 680 CJOB. Go ahead, Kelly.
Thank you, Gregor. Good afternoon, Adam. 11 hits in the 3 games since you returned to the lineup, including 6 last night. Has that kind of been a conscientious effort on your part, is part of your ramp up, or is that just how the game happened?
I think it's part of my game. It's definitely something we talk about, over the series, over a playoff series. Sorry, I should say that. You can start to wear down teams, if you hit their D man every time they get the puck, or every time the puck's on the wall, you're finishing your checks. Well, maybe not in game 1 or 2, but as the series rolls on, maybe they're going to move the puck a little quicker. Maybe they're going to be a little slower getting to pucks, and you can take advantage of that. And it's something I bring with my size. I think it's important I get in on the forecheck and hard on other teams' D, and so I try and do that. I don't think you're going to see 6 hits every night, but if I can be physical and not running out of position, it's going to be something that I continue to try and do. I think it's an important part of my game.
We'll go next to Scott Billick from the Winnipeg Sun. Go ahead, Scott.
Thanks, Gregor, and hey, Adam. Paul talked last night about the game lacking emotion, or just the team lacking emotion. And he pointed to it, maybe coming off the Calgary game, clinching a playoff spot, ending the 7-game losing streak. So just kind of a bit of a come down effect, I suppose. Is that the way you see it, or do you guys have to kind of ramp up that emotion here now with I guess 3 games left?
It's kind of maybe a fair assessment. I think you look at, Jamie Thomas mentioned it last night, our struggles at home, and, we're used to, coming to the MTS Center and having a raucous crowd, and, it being a pretty hostile place. And, it seems like there isn't that home ice advantage. You necessarily got to, obviously, with the line matching and things like that, you get your dressing room, you sleep in your own bed. So there certainly are advantages, but, it doesn't seem like the road's as tough of a place to play this year, and it doesn't seem like home's as tough of a place for the opponents to play. So, it's going to be important. You try and figure out a way to make it one of those things, make it tough where teams don't want to come into our rink. It's so, getting the emotion high, whether you're creating that, sometimes you got to fake it till you make it, and, get the energy going and things like that. But, I think that was one of those ones, a bit of an emotional letdown, I guess you could say. You end the streak and come off the road, and I thought we had a fairly good first period. We give up a couple goals, and then it just seems like we couldn't really get that next one, get over that hump. They score the third one, kind of takes the wind out of our sails, and so it's going to be important we find a way to get up for these next ones, and so we're feeling good going into the playoffs.
We'll go back to Scott for a follow-up. Go ahead, Scott.
Thanks again, Gregor. Yeah, and just on that last point you made, I mean, you guys fell behind 2-0, and you guys, I think it was, outshot them 11-5 in the period. So you guys had your opportunities. They score on 2 of their first 3 shots. I mean, what's it going to take for you guys to kind of take advantage of those opportunities that you get early game, instead of, kind of playing from behind, even though, like you said, you had a good period to start the game?
Yeah, it's one of those things. Both their goals or tips those are things, taking sticks or getting in lanes, don't allowing those shots to get through. And we had a couple real good chances to go up 1 or tie it at 1, and we just weren't able to capitalize. Sometimes it's the luck of a bounce, whether it bounces left instead of right, and now it's in the net. But it's important. I think you saw the directness we had in practice today, and that's our focus, is bearing down on those chances and making sure you make the most of it. We know in the playoffs it's kind of goals around the net. It's not usually the prettiest goal that's going to win you the game. So finding different ways to score, and that's going to be important for us as well.
Just a couple more for Adam. We'll go next to Carter Brooks from Game On. Go ahead, Carter.
Hey, Adam. This one isn't entirely Winnipeg Jets related, but it's a couple times this year you've talked about your dad and the importance that he's had for you. Can you talk today, as it is an International Day that celebrates mothers, was something that has been important to you as a mothering figure, and how, as a hockey player, it might be tough to celebrate with your mom on this day, but how you're able to do so?
How I'm going to celebrate my mom today, or just like
how you've been able to in past years on Mother's Day, and I guess so today as well.
Yeah, well, I think, coming from a hockey family, my mom played a huge role. My dad was on the road a ton, and I got a brother and 2 sisters, so we had a busy household. My mom, she had to take on a lot of that burden, shuttling us from the rinks, and getting us to our different sporting events, cooking us dinners, making sure kind of we were all looked after, everything was taken care of. And so she made a ton of sacrifices growing up. And last year, it's tough with the pandemic, and obviously like to be able to see them more often. So I think it's one of those things where in the past, usually if you're not in the playoffs, you're able to get together, go for dinner, celebrate her, and make sure she knows how important she is in my life, and my brother and sister's lives, and our family's lives. So happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there.